I'm excited for the youth to grow up with blind sailing always being there. Are we actually going to sail the boat? Or is this going to be more like a chartering? We're going to go out for a day sail? No. You will rig the boat. You'll learn all functions of the boat. You will be at the helm. You'll learn different sails, different trims. She was the first Twin Cities blind sailing member to sail on a boat by themselves with a guide on another boat.
Welcome to Blind Abilities. I'm Jeff Thompson. Today in the studio, we have Katy Boyd, and she brought something with her when she moved here, something she's been doing quite a few years out in Boston, and it's blind sailing. She started a nonprofit called Twin Cities Blind Sailing. Katy Boyd, welcome to Blind Abilities.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming to Minnesota. I mean, we got 10,000 lakes, so it seems fitting that we have some blind sailing going on here.
Yeah, there has to be, right? There's 10,000 lakes. There has to be sailing and there has to be blind sailing.
And you took it upon yourself to get it started.
Someone had to, right?
There you go. Katy, you started physically blind sailing in Boston, and when you moved to the Twin Cities area, you saw that this sport wasn't available to blind individuals, and so you started Twin Cities Blind Sailing. How did blind sailing impact you enough that you figured you got to have it here too?
Yeah, so when I started out in Boston, I got hooked from day one, and that was about 7 years ago. I started racing with Boston Blind Sailing. I got invited to do some ocean races, which I loved and I want to do more of, and we will do more of. When I knew I was moving out here, I looked to find something for the blind and visually impaired. I needed to sail, and there was nothing. So I started talking to Minneapolis Sailing Center. I started talking to Wayzata Sailing School about bringing Twin Cities blind sailing. They were both on board and have made the process so easy. I can't say how thankful I am for them and for the guides that have volunteered their time. They have made it so easy. Yeah.
Last year you got this started, and I went to the website and see that you have youth camps, you have cruising, and you have racing tabs that I could click on. And I was like, whoa, there's multi-levels here. Tell us a little bit about that. Twin Cities Blind Sailing.
The youth program is actually our newest program. Last season, I had 2 sailors that were 6 and 10 come out with their mother and another day with her dad come out sailing. And I was just watching this and I was like, we need to have a youth program. I want the youth that are blind and visually impaired to grow up as this is a normal thing. I want the sighted youth to grow up alongside of them and going, hey, I really want to race. I want to sail with this person. They're amazing. And that mother she was great. From day one, she was like, I do not want to hold my children back. I want them to be independent. And that's what we want, right? My dad asked me a long time ago out in Boston, he goes, why would you choose the most expensive sport? And I told him, I feel free on the water. I feel independent. I can go wherever I want. If I decide I'm done going this direction, I'll just go another direction. It's not like getting in an Uber where I go from point A to point B. So the youth program, they're both out of Minneapolis Sailing Center and Wayzata Sailing School. Minneapolis Sailing Center is June 10th through the 14th from 8:30 to 3:30 p.m. That is free, and that's with youth that are 7 to 17 for both programs. They will learn how to sail. They'll do games, different activities, play around their kids. They can't be focused on sailing for 8 hours a day. The Wayzata Sailing School will be July 22nd through the 25th. The age group is 9 to 14. The cost is $60. And for that one, you're able to sign up today. And they have a slot for 6 to 8 blind or visually impaired youth. That's what I'm excited about. I'm excited for the youth to grow up with blind sailing always being there. We also have 2 other groups, cruising and racing. So the cruising group was made for people that want to learn how to sail at their own pace. Not everyone enjoys racing and enjoys being competitive. That's why I started the racing group. This year, we're kind of dividing it out to people that want to get their flag rating, which allows for the sailor to come out with a friend and sail out on a boat and just be like, okay, you're going to be my eyes, and then I'll sail the boat. And then the racing group will travel to regattas, go to clinics, compete, and we're trying to expand the sport of blind sailing. Yeah.
When you say regattas, I was reading about Canada, England, Italy. It reaches around the world. Japan, too.
Yep. We have a group. There's 2 people from Boston and then 1 from Florida. They're actually going to compete on Lake Geneva for the Blind Match Racing Championship. Yeah, it's growing. We want the sport to grow, and we want it to grow in the US. Looking at starting one up in Duluth next season and one out in New York this next season too.
What are your expectations for the people who embark upon blind sailing?
I don't want to limit what people want to do. I want people to find their independence, find joy out of sailing. There's something I've gotten asked frequently from the blind or visually impaired is, are we actually going to sail the boat? Or is this going to be more like a chartering? We're going to go out for a day sail. No. You will come out, you will rig the boat, you'll learn all functions of the boat. You will be at the helm, you'll learn different sails, different trims. For example, we had someone this last season that I went out to Lake Harriet and went and sailed on their Mini 12s, which is kind of like a kayak sailboat. You're in it by yourself, you're controlling all the sails, and I really enjoyed that. I've never sailed on that kind of boat. I went to this lady, Rachel, and I go, I think that you will actually like this. So she came out and she loved it. So she was the first Twin Cities blind sailing member to sail on a boat by themselves with a guide on another boat.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't want to limit someone. If someone comes and goes, you know what, I really want to do ocean racing. Well, let's figure out how to do it. I want to compete at this sort of level. I would love for it to be back into the Olympics. It's no longer in the Olympics right now, which is sad, but hopefully that will change in the next couple of years.
Well, there you go. It's expanding from Boston to the Twin Cities here. So why not go for the Olympics, right?
Yep.
I really like on your website the document that you put on there. It's downloadable, and I downloaded it. It's called VIP User's Guide to Basic Sailing Terms, Basic Sailing Skills with Incorporated Lessons Plan. And it was easy to navigate with headings. And I found rule number 1, your skills have to rise to the level of the occasion because the occasion will not lower itself to your skill level. I really like that.
No, it was great. It was made by Walt out in San Francisco. He's another blind sailor. And I know we've gotten questions of, I wish there was something listed with you had all the terms. Because when you come, and it happened my first day, and it still happens, there's so many terms for just one thing. It feels like you're just learning a completely different language. I'm glad I asked Walt, I go, can I put this on our website? And he said yes. So now our sailors have it available for them to use and learn over the winter while we're waiting for next season.
When I first heard about Twin Cities blind sailing, I was like, wow, this is really interesting because I did a podcast with Lucy Hodges a couple of years ago, and she's a 6-time champion over in England. Listening to the degree and the level of, she's been doing it for 20 some years, and how she can feel the wind and just the little subtleties and everything. And that comes through experience. So you got 7 years. So racing, what is that like for you when you're racing? How's it feel?
I've been in sports my whole life, so I love competing. My main job on the boat that I sail with, and people I sail with, is the jib, which is a small sail up front, or you can call it grinder, whatever you want to call it. I love being a part of a team. I love competing. I love looking at who the best is and going, okay, we're going to beat them, right? I was very lucky back in 2022 to go with Sarah Skills. She is in a wheelchair. She is a skipper. Went with her, went with Pauline out of Boston. She's blind, someone out of Boston Blind Sailing. And then we had Emma, which she was from Brown. She was All-American. And We did the 2022 Women's Championship out of Newport, Rhode Island. So this is a race where we raced against, it wasn't, adaptive race. We were racing against Olympians. And I love it. Pauline was like, we're in it to win it. And I was like, let's improve each time.
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna do our best, and we did. Every time we got better. I think at first they were like, how is this gonna happen? Right? We were the only adaptive group, right? We had two blind visually impaired sailors. We had one person in a wheelchair that we had to strap in. So it's usually you get out there on the boat and you get out on the water really fast. Well, it takes quite a bit of time to, strap someone that's in a wheelchair into a boat and then get prepared. I think at first they were probably like, how is this going to happen? But they saw us race. And, personally, I don't like being told what I can do. Let me tell you what I can do. And let me prove that I'm able to do this. I want to push myself. I want to do more ocean racing, along with Pauline out of Boston and Liz Bayless. So Liz Bayless, she's our coach. Has done America's Cup, Rolex. She teaches with North U. She's head of U.S. women's match racing. We're going to do the Newport Bermuda race in 2026. We would be the first blind and visually impaired group to actually do this race. It's about a 5-day race from Newport to Bermuda, depending on the winds, of course. Yeah, we're starting to practice for this and, plan and yeah.
Wow. All the way to Bermuda.
Yep. Hopefully I answered some questions in there. I tend to go off.
I think it's great because I think someone that's just interested in this, or even if parents are interested in getting their kids involved in something, stretching the horizon to opportunities that they can do. I mean, here we're in 10,000 Lakes, like I said before, but I haven't heard of blind sailing in Minnesota. So it's really neat. I mean, we got blind hockey, we got beep ball, we got a few other things, opportunities, but this just seems like a good fit. And I'm glad you brought it here and you got a year under your belt and people can go to the website, TwinCitiesBlindSailing.org, I believe.
Yes.
Click on the links and download the documents, see what it is. And I say, give it a shot. I'm excited for you and I'm glad you had a great year. And I'm glad that people are going to have this opportunity. It's a lot of teamwork. It's a good skill to develop and have. And I'm glad Twin Cities Blind Sailing is available.
I think we're lucky to have such a great group, whether it was the sighted guides that came out and did the training or, it's the sailors. They've jumped right in and they're like, I want more. We have sailors that go out with sighted guides on other days. They've bonded and started friendships and now they're just off sailing on random days where it's not under Twin Cities Blind Sailing, which I love and I want that. If you love sailing, it doesn't matter if you're sighted or blind, you love sailing.
You even have on your website, I saw that you do training for sighted guides that want to volunteer.
Yes, we do sighted guide training. We're going to have it every year and it's 2 days. The first day is going to be at the Wayzata Sailing School and the second day is going to be at Minneapolis Sailing Center. Food's provided. And we just talk. They have a lot of questions. Maybe some of them have never been around anybody that's been blind or visually impaired. They're like, how is this possible? How can we put someone at the helm right away that has never sailed a boat or done anything on a boat? It's all about describing, right? You can be an amazing sailor. You can have sailed for 30 years, have all these championships under your belt, all this experience. But if you're not able to describe the surroundings, saying, hey, there's a boat at 2:00, 6 boat lengths away, there's a puff coming, 3, 2, 1. Like, if you're not able to describe, you won't be the perfect sighted guide, which is sad. But we try to work with people and people have learned and grown. And I think we've had some skeptical people of going, how is this possible? And then after the first day, they're like, wow, you really just don't. Sailing, you don't need your eyes. There's a lot of feel. Mm-hmm. You feel the wind on your face. You can hear. You can feel when you're at the helm. You can hear the mainsail flapping. There's all sorts of things that use other senses than your eyes in sailing.
When I was looking at the document, it starts out with instruction about the boat and then the dock, getting in the boat, safety. So it's not like you just get in the boat, like you said, like a charter ride, and there you go, 3-hour tour. It's instructional. So if you got an interest in it, these are all the things: docking the boat, mooring the boat, bringing the boat in, getting in the boat. And there's so much. That document that Walt did that you have on the website, it doesn't just say everything about the boat. It talks about the little pieces that all come together to make the whole experience complete.
Yep. And what we do is your first time in the boat out of Minneapolis Sailing Center, both of these boats that you sail in, they will not capsize. You would not be out on the water if the wind was that high to capsize this boat.
Mm-hmm.
So we put people in for their first time, let them feel around, describe what each function is on the boat, what they're feeling, and then maybe some dangers like, okay, this cleat, don't put your hand in it, right? It'll pinch your finger, things like that. So people definitely get to know and take your time, right?
Mm-hmm.
The best thing about cruising is it's at your own pace. There's no set schedule of you need to learn this by this amount of time. If it takes you time and you want to go slower, go slower. We want you to have fun and enjoy your experience, and, invite a friend out and go, I really love this and I want to learn how to sail by myself, get my flag rating, and invite friends and family on the boat with me.
What's it like when you see a person come back the second time all smiles and ready to go?
Oh my goodness. We have people that are hooked, and I'm like, I understand. I'm happy to see the sport in Twin Cities blind sailing grow, and they're telling their friends, right? I think the most amazing thing that just warms my heart was when I was talking about the 6-year-old and 10-year-old. Well, the 10-year-old was hiking out of the boat, which he was like sitting on the edge, leaning back. And I'm like, the kid has never sailed before, right? And he's doing this, he's loving this. And one of the sailors out of Wayzata, a sighted guide, I think went to the parents and said, this kid can do whatever he wants, put him in the racing program, like the kid can compete. And so I think I just love seeing the joy that sailing brings to me to other people. And so when they come back a second time, third time, that's great. And when you sign up for membership, you're not required to come a certain amount of time. Come when you can. So there's no pressure of, I can't come this week, but I can come next week. Well, that's okay. It's fine. There's no set times and dates where you need to come.
And without it, that 10-year-old would have never known that experience. It's just so great that now with Twin Cities Blind Sailing, they get this opportunity to open their mind to the possibilities. I mean, without it, how would you know? So give it a shot. I say, if anyone listening to this, go to twincitiesblindsailing.org, check it out, read the document. There's a phone number on there. You can talk to Katy Boyd and find out more about blind sailing right here in the Twin Cities area. Katy Boyd, thank you so much for coming to Minnesota, first of all, and bringing with you your passion for blind sailing and putting a nonprofit together so others can enjoy it just like you have found the joy. So thank you.
Thank you. And I hope to see all of you guys out there and come race with us. I'm very happy. We have sailors helping grow Twin Cities blind sailing. So yeah, thank you very much.
Such a great time talking to Katy Boyd and learning about Twin Cities blind sailing. And if you want to find out more, check out the show notes for all the links. And that's twincitiesblindsailing.org. Check it out. For more podcasts with a blindness perspective, check us out on the web at www.blindabilities.com, on Twitter at blindabilities, and download the free Blind Abilities app from the App Store and Google Play Store. That's 2 words, Blind Abilities. And if you want to leave some feedback, give us some suggestions, give us a call at 612-367-6093. We'd love to hear from you. I want to thank you for listening, and until next time, bye-bye.
When we share
what we see through
each other's eyes, we can then begin to bridge the gap
between the limited expectations and the reality
of blind abilities.
And the realities of blind abilities.